Have you ever wanted something so bad? I mean, like you really want this thing bad. You know what I'm saying? You think about it constantly. You talk about it. You pray about it, right? You've asked God about it, and you haven't heard nothing, right? You haven't heard nothing at all, but yet you desire this thing. You want this thing so bad that you're even willing to forego hearing what God will have to say about it, right? Rather than wait on God, you just gonna act and move. Been there? And don't let there be a time limit. You know what I'm saying? Like there, whatever it is that you're desiring, whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you're attempting or trying to get, don't let there be a time limit on that thing. Like, it's a special, or you only got so much time, so many days, so many weeks. You know what I'm saying? Or a person, it might be giving you 6 months or something. You know what I'm saying? Don't let there be a time limit. Oh, we gonna work extra, overtime, double time, and any kind of time, right, to get the thing that we want. Especially if we've been waiting and praying and we ain't heard from God yet. Most of us is just gonna move. And it's in those times when we move, most of the time we move wrong. You dig? They got a nice, super clean, Jaguar. You dig? It's really nice. It's really clean. It's got low miles. It's the color that you could rock. And look, for like the next 2 weeks, right? It's on special. And you've been looking at this car. You've been going down, looking at it. You done sat in it. You know what I'm saying? And you didn't even schedule the test drive. You done prayed on it, but you ain't heard nothing. God has been silent. You ain't heard nothing in the spirit. You haven't got no inkling. But the time is ticking, right? Time is ticking for you. And you're like, oh, man, what am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? That money's burning a hole in your pocket. You only got, less than 2 weeks. You ain't heard from God. And then next thing you know, you down there at the dealership sign on the dotted line, right? What you don't know is you can't see down the line that car is going to be one that gives you problems. You're going to be constantly dumping money into it. It's not going to want to act right at times. You're going to have all these horror stories that's going to be attached to that car, all because we didn't want to wait. We didn't want to hear from God. We want to do it right now. This is Honey, right? Nice cutie pie, right? She been digging on you. And she been watching you. She's let it be known, you know what I'm saying, that she's feeling you. You feel me? And so, you kind of like her too. You think she's cool. And so, you guys are talking, you get to know each other, but you're praying about it, right? You praying because you don't want to make no mistakes. You don't want to attach yourself to the wrong thing, right? And so you praying about it, and God is silent. You're not hearing nothing, right? But yet, she's aggressive. You know what I'm saying? She's on you. And next thing you know, you cave in. You give in. You ain't heard from God. But you go ahead and entangle yourself or attach yourself, and then next thing you know, it's all bad. Happiness is gone, joy is gone. It's not enjoyable no more. You guys don't seem to have that much that you talk about anymore. It's more tense than it is comfortable and happy. Why? All because we didn't wait. You didn't wait. You just went ahead and moved. You know what I'm saying? Everything was looking good and looking right. And you was afraid that, somebody else might come along or she might lose an interest. So you go ahead and attach yourself, and you attach yourself to a bunch of problems and a bunch of headaches, a bunch of disagreements, all because we didn't wait on God. And it's not like we didn't see the red flags. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you and I didn't see red flags. But what we tend to do is we'll see the red flags and then we'll make excuses for them. Or we'll see the red flags and, we'll not see it as so bad. And we'll see like, okay, that I'm going to keep my eye on that. But yet we'll still go on, right? Until it gets to the point to where we can no longer go on. because now the red flags have just constantly been, waving, and you can't enjoy the other person's company because of the red flags that you're seeing, right? And then if they don't want to be addressed, or if they just kind of get, ignored or overlooked, it just compiles and makes things even worse, right? But if we would have waited, if we'd have heard God, if we would have listened, God would have revealed these things in time. He would have showed us these red flags, right? And then we wouldn't have been blinded. We wouldn't have, have that attitude, oh, I didn't know, or I was just so in love, I figured it would. If we just wait on God, right? Yeah, I understand sometimes it can get lonely. Yeah, I understand, nobody wants to be alone. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants someone that's going to sincerely love them and cherish them and be good to them and talk, right to them like they got some sense and think about their needs and want to grow together and build together. Most people do want that, right? But there's also a lot of folks out there that's not honest. They're not truthful about their intentions, right? They say all the right things, but yet they have an ulterior motive. And then, once that motive is made known or brought to the forefront, if nothing's done about that ulterior motive, they'll move on to the next because they had an ulterior motive. You dig? So again, if we would just take our time and seek the right person that fits us, that works well with us, that wants and desires to build with us, that's the right person. It's not always about looks. It's not always about money. It's not always about, showing a lot of interest and being aggressive. A lot of times it's just about waiting on God. And let's see what he says about the thing. You think it's time. You think it's time to make that step, right? Go from renting to owning, right? And then now you want to buy this house. You didn't see this house. It's a nice little house, it's cool, for you. And if you're with somebody, whatever, but you see this house, you want to buy this house. You've been praying about it. You've been fasting on it. You know what I'm saying? And you've been saving your money. You're making sure your credit is straight. But you ain't hearing nothing. And you ready to put a bid on this house because, if you don't put a bid on, somebody else finna get this house. And you don't want to be caught slipping. So, but instead of waiting and hearing from God, what do? Put in the bid on the house. And then all of a sudden, what happened? We'll get the bid. We'll get the house. But what you don't understand is now you done tied yourself to 30 years or 15 years or 20 years or whatever it is to whatever the issue may come up and arise. All because we didn't wait on God. Maybe it's, you get some crazy neighbors that now you got to deal with. Maybe, in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, the neighborhood turns, to garbage. You didn't see it coming, but, you got to deal with it. So if we would just wait on God, right? He knows the desires of our hearts. He knows the things that we truly want, the things that we lay before him, the things that we ask him about. If we would just wait, he will answer you. But a lot of times we want him to answer right now, yesterday. That microwave mentality. I'm not trying to cook nothing, God, in the oven. I'm not trying to sit and wait a long time. Can you please answer me now? They do have the internet now. They do have, 24/7 information around the clock. You don't need to sleep no more. And because I know you don't sleep, can you just tell me and answer me now? This is how we do God a lot of times, right? Instead of just being patient, instead of just waiting, enjoying the journey along the way until God gives you an answer. We just jump and move. And then a lot of times when we jump and move, we'll be the ones missing out. Right? God will be then told us or giving us little hints, little signs here and there. But because we want it all right now, we're not willing to pick up the nuggets and the jewels along the way. We're not willing to wait and see how the market is going to go and how things are going to shift, because, it may seem the right time to buy now, but then all of a sudden there's a crash and you stuck with a house that is depreciating in value that you can't sell without losing money, and a lot of money behind that, right? All because we didn't pick the nuggets. God is showing you, things about this person. And because you just going along to get along, or you just trying to wow them, or you're enamored, or, you're just in love with the idea with being someone, having someone in your life, you miss the nuggets. You know what I'm saying? God was dropping dimes on you. He was showing you all different kind of cars, but you were just so tunnel vision on this one car. That's what you wanted. The heart wants what the heart wants. Isn't that an excuse we say? Right? But because you didn't wait, and because I didn't wait, I can give y'all many stories about not waiting. And God had given me signs. He had given me little nuggets. I just couldn't put them together. I didn't put the pieces of the puzzle together before I just moved and got myself into a lot of heartache, a lot of trouble. You know what I'm saying? And even involved other people. If I'd have just put the puzzle together, if I'd have just looked and extrapolated what I needed from these nuggets, and then have been obedient, a lot of these hardships wouldn't have happened. But that's what happens to a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? I can be honest. If you be honest and be real, I'm sure you have made some decisions where you didn't wait on God. And when you jumped and moved, you jumped into something that behind could not pay for. I've been there. I've done it. You dig? Another person who had been there and done it was Moses. You dig? Moses got impatient. He got frustrated and he was angry. You know what I'm saying? Because things wasn't happening the way he wanted them to happen. People wasn't moving the way he wanted them to move. You know what I'm saying? And he got angry and he got frustrated. God had told him what to do, but because it wasn't going the way he wanted it to go, then what happened? He jumped the gun. He did something that he wasn't supposed to do, right? He made a decision to do something that God had not told him to do. Is that not what we're talking about today on this Testify Tuesday? And I'm testifying to you. I have been there. I have made decisions that God did not tell me to do, and it cost me greatly. It cost me drastically. You dig? Y'all go back and check some of my other videos, my testimonies about my marriage. You know what I'm saying? So when we do things that God has not told us to do, it can get us in a world of trouble, just like it got Moses in a world of trouble. And we're going to talk about it in the scripture. You dig? Now I'm be reading from the book of Numbers, chapter 20, verses 7 through 12. You dig? And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, you and Aaron your brother, and speak unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth them, meaning the congregation, water out of the rock. Thou shalt bring to them water out of the rock, so that thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts to drink. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him. Right? Verse 10. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, now check out what he said. Hear now, ye rebels, Must we fetch you water out of this rock? But God told them what to do. Gave them nuggets, gave them instruction, right? But they decided to do something else. Verse 11. And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod, he smote the rock. Not just once, but twice. And the water came out abundantly. And the congregation drank, and their beasts also. Verse 12. And the Lord spoke unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believed me not, right? Because you didn't believe what I said, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel. Therefore, you will not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. You dig? This is Numbers 20, 7 through 12. I find it funny when God will give us little nuggets, or he'll tell us little important things, and we do totally the opposite. You know what I'm saying? It's not that we didn't hear or we didn't know. No, we heard or we saw, but instead of doing what God tells us to do, we do the exact opposite, right? God told him to speak to the rock like I speak to my children, right? I don't deal harshly with my children. I don't beat my children. I speak to them, right? Then not only do I speak to them, but I call them by what I see them. My children Israel, not rebels, not stiff-necked and hard-head. That's not what I told you to call them. I said speak to the rock. And not only speak to the rock, but I want you to give, right? I want you to take the water to them and give it to them. So not only you're to speak, but you're to take it to them, and you're to give it out to them. There's some things I want you to say, some things I want you to do. But he did exact opposite. He didn't speak to the rock. He beat the rock. And not only did he just hit the rock once, as in like one hit ain't good enough, he had to hit it twice. You dig? Bop. God didn't say call them rebels, call them out their name, call them anything but a child of God. No, he said, speak to my children Israel, right? Speak to the rock and gather my children together. He didn't say gather all the rebels together, right? So now you're misrepresenting God. Not only are you misrepresenting God on so many different levels, right? You're misrepresenting me because I said speak, not strike. You're misrepresenting me because I called them my children Israel, not rebels, right? You're misrepresenting me because I give to my children. I provide for my children. I take unto my children. You didn't want to take that. Are we supposed to give y'all? Are we supposed to provide for y'all? That was the attitude. You dig? And so God was dropping little nuggets, just like he does with us. God will drop little nuggets. And it's up to us to recognize and put them little puzzle pieces together so we can see the full picture of the puzzle. But no, we get frustrated. We get mad. We get tired of waiting. And then we go off and do our own thing like Moses. And then we wind up getting in trouble. And then God winds up telling us, nope, you can't have it because you were disobedient. Nope, you can't have it because that's not what I told you to do. And then we want to be all butthurt and get out of shape. But we did it to ourselves. You mean to tell me after all this time I done put in, after all this work I done put in, after all this sacrifices I've been doing, you know what I'm saying? Getting up early, staying up late, running here, doing this, going there, buying this, providing for this, taking care of this issue, this emergency. After all that I've done, I can't enjoy the relationship? Wow. You mean after all the research I didn't put into this car, after all the looking at specs, after all the going back and forth and checking it out, and making sure it's straight, test driving, hoping and wishing. After all this I done, this is what I get. A bunch of issues and a bunch of problems, and I can't even enjoy it. So you mean to tell me after I didn't spend all this money getting my credit together, I didn't spend all this money on furniture, I didn't did all this to furnish my house and take care of the house, and I didn't got lawn services, and I didn't got extermination services, and I did all this stuff. Now you telling me I'm going to have a bunch of issues and problems that I'm tied to for years? I'm not really going to be able to enjoy being a homeowner? I'm going to miss out on all those joys because I didn't listen? Yes. The resounding answer to that is yes. When we don't listen to God and when we don't wait to hear from Him, when we decide to do our own thing, we can justify it in our minds all we want to. We can use any and every excuse to justify why we did something. But when we don't wait to hear from God, clearly wait to hear what the Holy Spirit says about a thing, and we just move in our own strength and our own power and our own wisdom, well, we get what we get. And we shouldn't be going to God complaining to him, oh, God, woe is me. And no, you did not listen to what God said. I've been there where I have not listened to what God said. And it cost me. It cost me heartache. It cost me regret. It cost me time and money that I could not get back. You know what I'm saying? So we have to learn to be thankful, man, when God is telling us no. That God is saying, no, that's not what I have for you. Even though we desire it, we want it, you know what I'm saying? We could picture it and see ourselves in it or with it or, whatever the case is. If God says no, or God has not said nothing, then we should not move and we should wait until we have a clear, definite answer on which way God wants us to go. You dig? So I just want to share with you on this Testify Tuesday that let's wait on God. Let's hear God clearly. And when God gives us the nuggets and the pieces to the puzzle, put them together first and know what God is saying and how He wants you to move and what He wants you to do. So therefore, when it comes time for you to move and do, you can move and do exactly how He said, not how we think or how we want it to be. You dig? Be blessed on today. This is your man, Levon. This has been your Testify Tuesday, you dig? Just want to share that quick word with you on how let's do better, man, in our waiting on God. Let's do better in listening to God's voice and not jumping and moving when we want to jump and move because we're tired of waiting. Remember, Lamella E, love, uplift, motivate, inspire, learn, laugh, encourage, and enlighten. Lamella E, you dig? Your man Levon. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification so you're always notified whenever I upload content. And like and share this video. See you next time. I'm out.